everyone, this is Xanthi and welcome to my channel In Two Pieces. Today I'm going to talk about the brand Grafika. Now I know little to nothing about Grafika. I was talking with my teammates about certain brands and it turned out that I've heard of Grafika, but I've never actually done a Grafika puzzle. They don't seem to be all that common here in Australia. You can get them, I think, at least in one online store, and that's about it from what I could tell. Could be wrong. So I thought, well, why don't I try them out? So my teammate Karen had two Grafika 500s, which she has kindly allowed me to borrow to test them out. So the two that I've got are here in front of me, and the first one, it's called Leaping Foxes, and the artist is Sally Rich. And this one looks difficult. I'm glad it is a 500 piece instead of 1,000, because it's got a watercolor effect to it. And I think that will make it challenging to do. But I am keen to give it a go. And the other one is this one here. It is called Nightling Gaze by Cris Ortega. I think it's pronounced Ortega. Anyway, I kind of guess this might be by that artist because this is that sort of style, the sort of like dark gothic sort of look to it. I love the purple in it. Don't normally do sort of people as such, or at least when they specifically feature people, the image. But this one did appeal to me, and I wanted to do two to really give this brand a bit of a test drive, so to speak. So it was interesting because I had a look at the size given, and from what I could see, it is just a smidgen smaller than a Ravensburger 500 piece puzzle. And so I opened it up and I had a look at the pieces inside, and they are indeed just a little bit smaller than a Ravensburger, but not that much smaller. And I'll pop up some footage and photos of the pieces. And I was trying to sort of tell whether the pieces had a matte or sort of a gloss finish, and I'd say it's sort of like a little bit in between. Just it's got a little bit of a grainy sort of sheen to it, but not terribly glossy. As for the piece shapes, they're very much like Ravensburger in that they're your standard sort of piece shapes. There's no random cut involved in this, but also they're not like the two in, two out variety. So there's a good variety in the piece shapes. As to the fit of this puzzle, I don't know. I haven't done one yet, but I'm about to find it out. Um, so yeah, I am going to get stuck into it. And while I do, will I show you some of the footage of me putting this together and also a bit of time lapse. I might just talk about Grafika because all I know is that they're from France and that's pretty much it. So I looked up their website, looked into their history. What sort of artists do they have? What sort of do they concentrate on a certain type of art or photography? Just what are they all about really? So yeah, hopefully you will find that interesting, and let's get stuck into it. Grafika is a French brand that started in 2013, and they first started off by creating puzzle accessories like jigsaw puzzle rolls and glue sheets, particularly for larger piece count puzzles like their jig roll for puzzles up to 6,000 pieces. It wasn't until 2014 that they launched into puzzles, and they concentrated on fine art from artists such as Monet, Manet, Klimt, Vermeer, and quite a few others. A year later, they offered art by more contemporary artists like Josephine Wall and Chuck Pinson and Cris Ortega, and they currently offer puzzles with images by a dozen artists from around Europe and the US now. there is the Grafika Kids line, which provides small piece counts to help introduce kids to fine art. In 2017, they released Travel Around the World, which was 48,000 pieces, and it was over 6 feet tall and 25 feet wide. Then a few years later, in 2020, they released Travel Around Art, which was 54,000 pieces, and that was over 6 feet tall too, but 28 feet wide, so just a little bit wider than their previous one. So let's just talk about the artist now. Sally Rich, she's an artist from the UK, and she has a BA in Fine Art and an MA in Authorial Illustration. I had to look up that term because I wasn't familiar with it. It's basically where the illustrator acts as the author. They initiate research to develop their own concepts rather than responding to external briefs. Sally has received several awards and has exhibited widely. To quote her, "Making art that is original, vibrant and engaging is central to my approach. A painting is only finished when the colours leap from the canvas." That was a lot of fun to do, the leaping foxes. Not gonna lie, it was kind of difficult, but I found it totally engrossing. Once I got into it, I just kept going, and I think I wasn't really timing myself, but I think roughly it took me about 2 hours non-stop puzzling to finish it, which is long for a 500-piece puzzle. But considering the complexity of this one, because of the watercolor sort of effect on it, um, I thought that wasn't too bad. And I wasn't speeding it, I was just doing it casually. I found myself working with the rooster, especially the tail feathers. So I sort of was drawn to them. And yeah, even doing the background wasn't too bad because there was a lot of these little dots and circles and things, and they were sort of quite unique to each other once you looked at them a bit closer. So yeah, I did really enjoy it, but I'm glad it wasn't a 1,000-piece puzzle because that would have been very difficult. Now, my intention was to film the build of Nightling Gaze, but unfortunately, because of the nature of it, that it's so dark, that filming it with my limited resources, my equipment, it was a bit too difficult. Um, and actually doing the puzzle itself was difficult. Yeah, it was really dark. And I have to admit, when I first pulled out the pieces and I was starting to sort things, and I pretty much knew that I was going to start with, the face, and maybe the crown and the jewels, and the skin tones, the hair, and then everything else was going to be last. And I did not start with the edges because that would just be madness, really. Um, but yeah, I have to admit, when I first started sorting out the pieces, I was like, do I really want to do this puzzle? It's a beautiful image, don't get me wrong. But boy, is it tough. Even as a 500-piece puzzle, this image was tough. Um, but as I got going, I thought, okay, maybe I can just do the bits that I can do, and whatever I can't do, I'll just stop there and I'll admit defeat. But no, I got a bit stubborn and I just kept going and I kept going. And I do admit that I had to sort by piece shape, um, especially when getting to the really dark areas. In the lower part with her clothing, there you can see like some very fine detail of a like embroidered sort of floral pattern. So that helped a bit. I did do some of this puzzle at night, which was just crazy. um, but it was tough, but I got there and I finished it, and I'm very pleased that I did. Now the question is fit. Now that I've done both of these, I can comment on the fit. And unfortunately, it does not have the fit that a puzzle like Ravensburger has. I could try picking that up, but I really don't think it's going to work all that well. No, it's not going to keep. The minute I pick it up, it's just going to crumble. So there is that, unfortunately. Had a few problems with false fits on the Nightling Gaze one. Not so much with the foxes, and that's just down to basically the image itself. The piece cut, like I said, is just your sort of standard sort of variety that you would get in a Ravensburger. So all up, I will have to say that, yep, I'm pretty happy with the Graphika quality. Not quite as good as Ravensburger. A little bit smaller. I do like the finish on it. It's not totally matte, but it's not super shiny either. Because they sort of concentrate more on like fine art and then art. I find that their range is a little bit more limited and perhaps not really to my style. And yeah, and then there are some images there like this Cris Ortega one, which is beautiful to look at, but maybe not as fun to puzzle. So anyway, I hope that you have gotten some kind of insight to this puzzle brand. And if you're able to, give it a go and see what you think. So thank you for watching. And if you subscribe, thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And I shall catch you next time. See ya.